Good day, everyone. Welcome to another lesson to be discussed. I am Wendelin T. Belguera, and for today's video, I will be discussing the Lesson 5 Messages, Verbal and Nonverbal Communication with its subtopic 5.5 Monochronic and Polychronic Time and 5.6 Mexicans and Americans a different sense of space.
Before anything else,
Let us define first the term chronemics. Chronemics is the term that indicates the study of the role and use of time in communication. It includes both individual perceptions about time and the ways time affects interaction, such as punctuality, speed of speech, task prioritization, power dynamics, etc. Moreover, chronemics is the perception of time in nonverbal communication. Chronemics help us to understand how people perceive and structure time in their dialogue and relationships with others. So I have a question. With regard to time management, do all world societies believe that time can be measured, tracked, managed? The answer is no. In the late 50s, anthropologist Edward T. Hall introduced the concepts of monochronic, cyclical, and polychronic linear time, with polychronism indicating the ability to handle multiple tasks simultaneously and monochronism a tendency to handle tasks sequentially. What are the main differences between monochronic and polychronic cultures? Let's find out. The first one is the monochronic time. A monochronic approach means essentially doing one thing at a time. They also emphasize doing things. They are cultures that value productivity, that value getting things done on time. According to Hall, monochronic perception of time can be found primarily in North American and Northern European cultures. In monochronic culture, time is linear and sequential. It means from task A to task B, one event follows the other. Time is a precious and tangible commodity that one cannot afford to waste. There is a time and a place for everything. Monochrons value careful planning. Schedules are important. Timekeeping is associated with efficiency, preciseness, and repetition. Orderliness and appropriateness are appreciated. Interruptions are not welcome. Focus is on doing one thing at the time, on keeping the plans, and on respecting previous commitments. Meeting deadlines is crucial. It is important to establish when things must be achieved. So, to the monochronic individual, time is valuable. Schedules are of extremely high importance, and in fact, time itself is treated as a commodity of high value, as necessary as or perhaps even more important than satisfaction, good work, and relationships. As a result, this view of time may be stressful. Next, let's proceed to polychronic time. Polychronic time, by contrast, is characterized by several events happening simultaneously. In addition, according to Hall's theory, interpersonal relationships are highly valued in polychronic cultures. Time is less tangible and emphasis is placed on the involvement of people and the completion of transactions rather than on schedules. Also, multitasking is valued. Examples of polychronic cultures are Latin American, African, Arab, and Native American cultures. Their perception of time is considered to be more connected to natural rhythms and to the earth and the seasons. This makes sense when we consider that natural events can occur spontaneously, sporadically, or concurrently. Polychronic cultures view time as being more flexible because life isn't entirely predictable. Scheduling and being precise are seen as simply not that important. In addition, relationships with people are valued more than staying on schedule. Further, polychronic culture, more value is placed on being than on doing. In addition, polychronic time is cyclical and concurrent. The different events take place simultaneously. People tend to live for the moment, present and past orientation, and to do several things at once. Life is unpredictable and distractions are part of it. Polychrons manage interruptions well without worrying about deadlines. Relationships are more important than task outcomes. Previous commitments will be respected if possible. Plans can be altered to fit a situation as it changes. And things people are doing are valued over time frame in which they are happening. On a related note, it must be noted that polychronic cultures are usually high context and collectivist, while monochronic cultures are likely to be low context and individualistic. So we have finished our discussion of the differences between concepts from a monochronic and a polychronic time. If you were to assess yourself, where did you belong from this culture? Are you a monochronic or a polychronic individual? Whatever it is, the important is time plays a significant role in human life, and time is an essential element of life. If we understand the value of time better, then we can gain experience and develop skills over time. Next subtopic to be discussed is Mexicans and Americans, a different sense of space. In Americans, they are conditioned from a young age to have a very distinct self of self. They are individualistic in thinking, spanning from their first bedroom to individual burial lots. Americans, as a society, look to advance the interests of the I. In 2006, the Josephson Institute of Ethics conducted a survey of 36,000 students in Los Angeles and asked questions such as: would you be willing to lie or deceive another individual to advance yourself in your own career? Not so surprisingly, more than 60% of students choose an individualistic approach in answering. This is great example of Americans drawing a circle around the I in their culture. Mexican culture draws its circle very differently. As opposed to thinking of the individual, Mexicans use a collective we, drawing a circle around their family. Defining this family space is important. It is the comfort and safety of a home that provides nurturing and support to Mexican children. Crouch writes that physical closeness goes along with closer families and less sibling rivalry, according to Crotch 2004. In reality, Mexican culture encourages this element of togetherness. Mexicans will always feel more comfortable being part of a group. Crotch 2004. Within this sacred space, they are in control of what is going on, not something that can necessarily be promised outside of their homes. Many families in Mexican culture celebrate unity among their neighbors and host group meals. When a member is accepted into this family circle, he or she is embraced wholeheartedly. When they are in their group space, they behave according to what that space is dedicated to. That is according to Crotch 2004. Understanding the two distinct approaches to space is important to intercultural communication because it explains why a Mexican would approach situations differently than an American. Another instances where Mexicans and Americans' culture differ is in terms of their social orientation. Americans prefer to spread out, while a Mexican prefer to congregate. Example: when Mexicans draw a circle around a group, they look inward to that group, whereas Americans see themselves more as individuals. And in terms of sense of space, Americans have a closer sense of group identity, which relates to how they are raised, while Mexicans look inward to each other for support. Example: from the moment an American is born, they have the expectation of privacy. In backing off, Americans and Mexicans behave ritualistically. Example: difference between Americans and Mexicans entering and leaving an elevator. Americans tend to remain quiet and face toward the door, while Mexicans will greet people as they come in and have conversations amongst each other. Lastly, in terms of group space, since Mexicans focus on their group inwardly, anyone entering their space makes a large impact. When entering a Mexican's business place, avoid flamboyant gestures and give a proper greeting. American and Mexican concepts of space not only differ in terms of family and personal space, but also in realm of business communication. In Mexican culture, the warmth and security of a personal family space does not translate into the workplace. According to the text, creating a distinct hierarchy between boss and worker is normal for Mexicans. Crotch writes, the Mexican boss will have an exaggeratedly large office and desk to emphasize the hierarchical distance between himself and his minions. This is his power distance. Crotch 2004. In America, businesses strive to create an environment where lower employees feel just as valued in the company as higher employees. In Mexican culture, businesses rely on the fact that the boss is the big man, Crotch 2004, and deserve a higher level of respect than other employees. In this way, their culture does not facilitate an open door for questions. It would be considered beneath the boss' skill set. Understanding the difference between an American sense of space in business versus a Mexican will surely save business deals. As Mexicans value their group space immensely, an American must adopt his or her sense of space as not to disrespect their coworker. This would include approaching the Mexican space with a proper greeting, avoiding flamboyant gestures, not shouting, and general circumspection. Crotch 2004. It is crucial that Americans adjust their individualistic tendencies as not to threaten or disrupt the harmony of the group. In the United States, people speak of my room and my privacy. This is not the case in Mexico. Employing numerous examples, Crotch shows how Mexicans share their space with others. He ties that sharing of space to a variety of Mexican perceptions and ideals. So, when entering the space of someone from another culture, it is crucial to the relationship that respect is the primary offering. Being sensitive to the perceptions of space held by Mexicans requires Americans to be cooperative in their actions and gracious in communicating within that group. Once they have been welcomed into the circle, cultivating those relationships should be the number one priority. That ends my report, and here's my references. Thank you for listening. Hope you learned from this discussion. Have a great day. Goodbye.